So she came right for the second time overhead. I flushed the ducks, and when she was stooping, I heard like the stoop, and she took another drake pintail, and after that, seconds after that, Moa came again and took another drake pintail right after.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Falconry Told podcast, and also what is now our fifth installment of our International Falconry series featuring some of Mexico's finest. And of course, we need to start by giving a shout out to some of the people who have helped make this podcast series possible, being the fine folks at Marshall Radio Telemetry, the makers of the most carefully engineered and reliable tracking systems available. For more information on their products, including the awesome GPS system, head to marshallradio.com. We'd also like to thank the North American Falconers Association and the Falconry Fund, whose small grants program helped make endeavors like this possible. Their small grants program helps stimulate innovative science, outreach, and scholarly activities for the North American falconry community, and also specifically supports raptor conservation, falconry traditions, and falconers themselves. For more information on the Falconry Fund, head to falconryfund.org. And for more information on the North American Falconers Association, head to www.n-a-f-a.com. And we also need to thank our friends at Pursuit Falconry and Conservation Magazine for their continued joint efforts in helping to promote the art of falconry across the world. If you need to get into some new good falconry content, articles, pictures, etc., I highly recommend you head to pursuitfalconry.co.uk and subscribe. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things back over to the second and final episode that was recorded in Aguascalientes before heading back to Monterrey. And Carlos had some really good stories to share and some other valuable insights as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to the conversation with Carlos Cruz. Enjoy. Well, thanks, Carlos, for doing this while you're here visiting. And
thank you.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of cool seeing the hunt today, and seeing your bird fly along with Martine's. Yeah. How long have you had that particular bird?
5 years now. 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. And did you get it as a passage or?
Yeah, it's a passage bird.
Yeah.
I trapped here in Aguascalientes. Okay. 5-year-old female. It's called Tata.
Tata.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that the bird that you've had the longest?
No, I have another one. I have another bird, which is Moa. It's a female also, trapped here in Aguascalientes, passage female. It's a 6-year-old bird.
6-year-old? Okay. Well, how long have you been practicing falconry then?
Well, I have my first kestrel when I was like 10 years old or something like that, where I started properly in falconry about 15 years ago. And then with long wings 10 years ago.
Give or take.
Less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as this particular bird that you've been flying there, that you flew today, basically, like, what was the main thing that got you into long wings or attracted you to want to fly falcons? The main thing that I want to achieve? Yeah, no, like what was the thing that got you initially interested in wanting to fly falcons versus other species of birds?
Oh, because the quarry that I have on hand, I will say. Here in Aguascalientes, I have the right places to practice long-wing falconry and catch ducks mainly. Mm-hmm. So other things that I have access is to sandpipers, lots of ducks, and some curlews. So that's the reason why I'm flying long wings and peregrines.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing that I think is forgotten a lot, and I've kind of touched on this before, but with other guests, and it's a common theme in falconry. It's not that you can't, but you really shouldn't fly, species of birds that aren't suited to the quarry that you have on hand.
That's correct. Yeah. So I have the falcon that I can fly properly to catch natural quarry and develop the natural way of the falcon, right? Like the natural behavior, so I can catch natural prey, natural quarry in the natural environment for the falcon.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the hunting spaces or the land and stuff that you have available to you, I mean, do you fly a lot of the same spots that Martine does? Or?
Yeah, I have my own ranch very very nearby the place we flew today. There's a kind of difference, not that open. I have a lot of mountains and stuff, but I have still I still have my own hawking grounds, right? So that's about an hour drive from home. So it's a place where I used to fly my falcons.
Okay. And you have I'm assuming, decent amount of ponds and stuff on that then, or?
Yeah, well, few ponds, like not that many amount of ponds, but full of ducks. So and also the good thing is the only falconer visiting that ponds, it's me. So I always have a correct amount of prey that I can catch.
Yeah, and that's really great that you have that. I wish that I had that.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah, I think almost every falconer that doesn't have that wishes they had that. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Where I live isn't very suited. It can be done, but it would be a lot harder, and then you would have to do some different things to probably be successful. But where I'm at, we have ducks and we have quarry that we could fly with a long wing, but the types of terrain that we have really aren't very suitable for it.
Okay.
I mean, it could probably be done, but you're not going to have as high of a chance of success, and it's going to take a lot more scouting and a lot more effort probably to get that. So I mean, I'm to say that I'm a little jealous would be a kind of an understatement, with some of the spots that you guys have here. Yeah,
the good thing about here, Central Mexico, I mean, in general, this area, is that the agricultural lands and some cattle ranches brings the proper opportunities to fly long wings, because the ponds that are made of like artificially for give water to the cattle, we receive those great amounts of ducks here, another waterfall coming from north. And also here in Mexico, the waterfall coming from north, migrating, they stay here over 6 months, 7 months a year. So we have this more window of time to get access to those quarry.
Yeah, Martin was saying that you guys can hunt these ducks for 8-9 months, and
about that. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of unheard of, in other
places. And good weather and all, and everything. Rainy season here, it's when the falcons are molting. So when they start flying and getting in shape, we start to hunt ducks. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to touch on this earlier with you guys, but when we were talking and stuff, I mean, is there much other quarry here besides ducks to hunt? I mean, if you wanted to fly something else, I mean, are there rabbits or much else that you can hunt around here?
Yeah, with not with a long wing, but I would say with, for example, a Harris hawk or a goshawk or other booty or something like that. You can catch rabbits, jackrabbits, I don't know, squirrels, a lot of things. But for a falcon, you can catch also sandpipers, curlews, killdeers, other waterfowl. What else? Snipes, for example. Few amount of snipes, but they're still available. And but mainly ducks, because there's a huge difference on the numbers of ducks than other waterfowl.
If the numbers of the rabbits kind of been affected here as they have been in like Monterey and around there also?
Not that much here, but yeah, we had some cases.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's something that's affected a lot of people, with their hunting spots and stuff in the U.S. Also, it seems like this has been a bad year for that virus. So yeah. I didn't know if, what other abundance of quarry there was around here.
Oh well, we have an abundant base of prey here, but we didn't notice that decline of the amount of jackrabbits or rabbits, at least here in Aguascalientes or the zone we used to go fly our falcons now.
Okay. Well, as far as, I mean, you mentioned that, how old was it that you said you had that first kestrel whenever you were a kid?
Yeah, I was like 10 years old or
10,
something.
10 years old?
Yeah.
Okay. So was there something that kind of spurred your interest, or did you know about falconry at all before you discovered, that first bird?
No, not at all. Some suddenly one day my older brother came with a kestrel to the house. He bought it on a market, and only passed like 2 weeks, and he was totally away from the falcon, like no interest. And he said, well, "Okay, there's a falcon. It's a gift to you." And I was amazed for the falcon, and then I started to try to get some books and get into the internet that was starting by that time. So there was no many information available for me. And then I met a guy who was living like 10 minutes away from home, from my parents' home. And then he started to teach me because my father used to go around to a park nearby the house. And that was a place where the falconers, local falconers, meet together every afternoon to fly Harris Hawk and everything. So one day my father came to them and asked for some advice to his little kid, right? And then one of them accepted, and he was my mentor, my teacher in falconry. Enrique Jimenez, it's his name. And then I started to fly more falcons and get more information and everything. And then I started to get more interest in wildlife in general. Then at the point that I studied biology, I studied a lot. And then the last year I just finished my PhD on ecology. So the interest about wildlife and wildlife conservation and falconry and everything came from a falcon when I was a kid. So that's also the way that I want to grew up my little daughters, teaching them about the wildlife and the importance of wildlife conservation and ecology and knowing the species and the environment and everything, right?
That's good. Well, I mean, if so, you have how many kids then?
Three.
Yeah. All girls?
All girls.
Wow. Okay. I don't know whether to apologize or feel sorry or congratulate you.
You can say congratulations.
Okay, congratulations.
It's good for me.
That's good. I just have one son, and he's already a teenager now. So
okay.
So it's kind of
it's tough.
Yeah. Well, it's it is what it is. But no, I'm sure that's been interesting, kind of juggling all that with your other interests.
Yeah.
Especially, pursuing a PhD. I know it's a ton of work.
Yeah. I just finished last year, actually, my PhD on jaguar ecology. I studied jaguars in the Yucatan Peninsula jungles for several years. And also my wife is a biologist, so we share that need to share our knowledge to our little daughters, and they need to the importance to spread the conscience about wildlife and conservation and the respect for all the animals and that kind of things, right?
So, to work on that here in Mexico, how much? I don't know how much you know about the process, in the United States, but what all goes into pursuing those higher levels of education here in Mexico? Then,
well, you need to have first a bachelor's degree as I think I assume in many countries.
Yeah.
Then you have to have a master's degree, and then you apply to a PhD. And if they accept you need to pass a very tough test, and then a series of interviews with different professors, and then you have to apply to receive a grant. And if they approve your project, you can start a PhD. And by the half of the PhD, they apply another test to know if you are enough good to continue and finish your PhD. So if you pass that, you can continue. And yeah, it's a little bit hard, but I think we have for Mexico, we have good standards of education at that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm completely ignorant to how much different the education system is here compared to the United. I mean, it sounds like it's very similar.
It's no, it's very. For example, in this case for biology, I know that in the United States, first you have to be a medical doctor or something like that, or not?
For just like biology or
yeah.
What? Well, I mean, it's
the opposite, right? For be a medical doctor, you have to study biology first.
Well, yeah, I mean, basic like anatomy and physiology and things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like the doctorate to be a medical doctor versus the PhD type doctorate. I mean, it's two kind of different things.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like if you were just going to get a general like biology degree in a certain field or whatever, you wouldn't have to go through all the things necessarily like a doctor or somebody else would in the medical field. But there's still like certain basic levels of education, like the bachelor's, the master's degree, and things like that you still have to do.
Here's the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the same, and it's difficult to get to get a scholarship or funds or to develop a good project of a PhD. Yeah, it's difficult.
So in all that pursuing of higher level of education, I mean, did you ever consider doing anything specifically with raptors then? I mean, since you already are kind of interested.
Well, for my bachelor's degree, I did research for my thesis about worldwide patterns of distribution of raptor species, taking into account all the species in the world, like almost 600 species, and I made basically an analysis to determine the effectiveness of the natural protected areas worldwide. So I studied from that base of patterns of distribution, the effectiveness of the natural protected area system worldwide. Yeah,
it sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it took several years. I will share to you the research paper is published on PNAS, the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America. So it's a good magazine, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, did you have to do any traveling abroad or anything for that when you were doing that?
No,
as well,
that was all research.
Okay.
And of literature and everything like that.
Wow. I mean, so as far as what you do for an actual like job now, I mean, is there a particular place that you work, or do you like have some other type of position, like education position somewhere right now that you do? Like
I work for the National University. So there's an institute in the Institute of Ecology I work for as an associate investigator. So we continue to do research on jaguars, conservation of jaguars, and the design and implementation of conservation strategies like natural protected areas, that kind of stuff. Gotcha. Conservation, basically, yeah. Conservation biology.
So does that leave your schedule pretty flexible then to do
yes.
as much falconry as you want? Or?
Yeah, not that as much as I want. I still have a schedule, work to do, reports and everything like that. But I still have time to practice my falconry, especially during mornings when my kids are at school. So I can go fly my falcons, come back, be there by noon, I think, and then work for the rest of the evening and then share time with my family after that. So it's cool.
So you can do a lot of your work from home?
Yes. But at this point, yes. Before, no, I had to travel a lot to the Yucatan Peninsula, to Quintana Roo, to the jungle, and stay there for several weeks, a month, 2 months, on doing my field work, collecting my data, so I can come back home after a week and analyze my data.
Yeah. So when you were doing all that, I mean, did you already have kids whenever you were doing all that research in the peninsula?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were kind of having to do...
2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what it's
like. Yeah,
it
was difficult.
You had to be gone for months at a time.
Yeah, for months, months, yeah.
I've had to do the same thing the last couple of years, so I understand. It's tough.
Yeah, fortunately, the field work for the jaguars, was in the molt season of the falcons. So that was good for me. It worked because I can accomplish my career and my work, and also have time in the winter to fly my falcons and share time with family.
Yeah. So I mean, so at least you didn't have the extra salt in the wound, so to speak, by having to miss out on falconry plus family.
Yeah. It worked well. Yeah, it was good.
Well, very good, very good. Well, yeah, no, I'm always interested to kind of talk to people that, I mean, I've got a few other friends that have positions either in research
Science.
or teaching, science, biology, and that have done different levels of research, and thesis papers and things like that. And, I mean, getting just that different little bit of insight from some of the stuff they found during that. I mean, what in particular did you find, like, whenever you were, like, what was the result that you found when you were doing that research on, the distribution of raptors and stuff? Was there anything kind of interesting that you found when you were doing your research for that you thought was kind of noteworthy? Or
like for the raptors? Yeah, we found that many of the raptor species are in danger, are not protected by natural protected areas. I mean, they're not under law protection. The high density of raptor species, I mean, like many species in one point in one country are not protected by law, are not in a scheme of protection by a natural protected area, or are not in suitable habitats. Yeah, that's the main conclusion. So also we analyze the economic cost to protect land that will be suitable habitat for raptors. So we analyze the socioeconomic cost. For example, change the land use from agriculture or cattle, for example, to a conservation use of the land. So we analyzed that, and we found that it's going to be very, very, how can I say, very difficult to change that land use for conservation. But also we can use, raptors also use secondary habitats as suitable habitats. No? For example, like agriculture and cattle are also good spots to them for breed and to migrate, and yeah, that's our findings. I'll share to you the research.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be kind of neat to check out. I mean, I'm sure you probably saw some different things as far as why some of these different species have also started living more in urban, like city environments and things too, because their habitats being taken away and things like that too. But
yes,
well, that's neat. No, I'm always interested to hear different perspectives on that, and I appreciate you sharing that. But so kind of going back then to kind of your childhood, and I mean, you said you had the Kestrel and you found out about the stuff, got interested, started, kind of getting out with these different guys and stuff. I mean, were there other different types of birds, species that you flew whenever you were a kid that you were interested in before?
After the Kestrel, I continued with Harris Hawks for several years. I started actually hunting with a female Harris Hawk. I started in a park hunting squirrels. That was my first kill on falconry, and then I continued with that female Harris Hawk hunting jackrabbits and rabbits and that kind of quarry. And then I moved to the aplomado falcon, and that just started to blow my mind. Like, that's actually when I decided to study biology, because I started catching little birds that I didn't recognize. I didn't know what I was hunting. So my father gave to me in a bird a field guide of birds. So I started studying what I was hunting with my aplomado falcon, right? So I was more and more involved in both worlds of studying birds, but also practicing falconry with my aplomado falcon. And I continued with the aplos for several years, also like 5 years or so, catching different kind of quarry, little birds, larks, middle larks, uh, how do you say, sparrows, and that kind of things. And then I moved to the long wings about 10 years ago with a peregrine falcon, a Tundra's peregrine falcon. Yeah.
Well, when you're hunting, I'm just out of curiosity, when you're hunting squirrels, I mean, here in the part of Mexico where you grew up and around here, like what type of squirrels do you have? I mean, do you have squirrels that are comparable in size to like our gray and fox squirrels?
Yeah, they're gray with a red tail. I don't know. It will be good to know the species. It was a park in Mexico City. Actually, it was a big park where people used to go and ride their bicycles and run. And there's a lake and kind of that. There's a zoo. So I grew up in Mexico City, a very crowded city. So the only opportunity that I had by that time to practice falconry was in a park with my Harris Hawk, catching squirrels, and very quick I moved to the Atlas, but it was a good experience for starting, how to manage a bird. I was like I don't know, 13 years old or something like that, and that Harris Hawk was badass, very aggressive. Very aggressive, and when she started to catch squirrels, it went like off, right? So
yeah,
I started to learn that the hunting behavior start to chase off like bad behaviors, aggression, something like that. So I started to learn. Yeah.
Well, now you've got me curious because now I'm gonna have to look that up as soon as we get done talking and what species exactly that was, because there's a lot of guys that I know, good friends that I have that hunt just squirrels with either red tails or Harris Hawks, and that's their thing. Like that's their, that's what they love to do.
Yes.
And I tried to get into that this season myself, but the red tail that I initially trapped to use for falconry this season ended up being one of those wonderful rare experiences. You trap a red tail, it doesn't want squirrels for whatever reason. So I ended up catching a rabbit with her and just going ahead and letting her go. And then I've had an older Harris that I've been trying to get going this season. I just finally got past all of her little quirks and got her to finally start hunting with me and stuff. But yes. Now it's almost the end of our season, at home. So it's like,
okay.
Where
do you live?
I live in southern Indiana. I live in
Indiana. Okay.
Evansville, Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Is where I live. So, our squirrel season only goes to, I believe, the end of February. The neighboring state, though, that I live close to in Kentucky goes, so I think the end of March. But regardless, I'm already kind of running out of time with that. But anyway, no, I mean, we pretty much primarily just have gray and fox squirrels, though. And the gray squirrels are obviously a lot smaller than the bigger fox squirrels. But I was just curious, because I didn't know, just the difference in size from that or whatever. But so I'm really curious though about your experience with the aplomado. Then, I mean, whenever you started getting into that, how long did it take you to get your aplomado hunting with you? And I mean, was that a relatively quick thing? I've heard from, the reason I asked is I've heard from multiple people that sometimes aplomados can take a season or two or even a few seasons to kind of mature and get their head in the game, with hunting some.
Yeah, well, maybe that happened with ES aplomados. But here in Mexico, we have a good population of aplomados. So it was a 5-6 hour drive from home, from Mexico City to the coast. So you can easy trap a passage aplomado. Yeah. And if you have some experience with other raptors, it can be relatively easy to tame and train an aplomado falcon. Aplomado falcons, especially, are very bad for the hoods. So and a passage can be even worse. So if you don't have it, like the knowledge and the patience and the time and everything, it can be screwed up very easy. But you still have the opportunity to catch another one and release that.
Sure.
Right. But it took me my first aplomado. It took like 2 months and a half to catch my first prey. That was a shrike. I remember it was a shrike in like some it was a cornfield, but in a forest edge. So it was cool. Yeah, it was not that difficult, but since I had previous experience with other raptors, but it wasn't that easy. Also, it was my first falcon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a different mindset, but yeah, I mean that's something else I keep forgetting too, and and that's another reason why I've been so excited to do this series down here is because it reminds me of the subtle differences and even the availability of the type of birds too. Because you mentioned, pretty much the only aplomados that we're going to be getting mostly are going to be either imprint or chamber raised birds from a breeding project. I keep forgetting that they're native here.
Made here, Mexican aplomados. The distribution of the original distribution of the aplomado falcon. Historically, it came from up north, from Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, all the way down to northern Argentina, right? But we still have a good population of aplomado falcons in the East Coast, Veracruz, Tamaulipas, the coastal states, and there's a good amount of aplomado falcons.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I forget also is that for a long time there they actually were kind of semi-abundant in the States also, but then whatever changed kind of screwed that up, but yeah, no, I mean, so were you primarily just hunting that off the fist with your aplomado? Or
off the fist, but also with the tip perch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, also with the tip perch like a Harris hawk.
So, and some people hunt kestrels from little T perches too.
Yeah,
so.
I learned from other falconers that tip perch gives you more opportunities to hunt with an aplomado falcon because as the Harris hawks they always come back to the tip perch and you just have to continue walking. Yeah.
So the aplomado was coming back to the T perch also.
Yeah.
Huh. Did you have to do anything special to train it? Did you have to train it with tidbits or whatever to do
nothing,
that? Just
no
naturally?
No bait at the tip perch because they start to go fly away and then come back just for a tidbit.
just for the
So you have to show the falcon that it increase the opportunity to hunt from the tip perch.
Gotcha.
Not for getting reward.
Gotcha. No, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, learn new little things every day. That's cool.
That's the way that I fly. That I flew my aplomado falcons. I'm sure that there are plenty of ways that people use it, right?
Oh yeah. I mean there's all kinds.
But
of
it works good for passages, I think.
You think? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, neat. Well, so as far as just your different experiences then, and since settling on peregrines and do you think that that's pretty much what you're going to continue to mainly just fly?
I think so. I think so. It's comfortable for me. It's good for me. I found my place in falconry. I think like flying long wings. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn from fellow falconers, and I still have few years of experience, like 9 years flying falcons is not a huge amount of experience. I still need to continue and improve myself and providing more opportunities to my falcons to achieve what I want, right? To develop different mental and health states of my falcons so they can be more successful. So I can also achieve the things that I want to see, to watch, to witness from my falcons.
Yeah, I mean it's a constant work in progress.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean there's as we all know that are involved in the sport, I mean you can have birds that can make you think that you've got it all figured out, and then you can have these other birds that just make you think you know nothing. So.
Yeah, there's also a thing that you can improve. I think in falconry, there's also a behavior that you can avoid, or that you can try to increase, or there's always things that you can get better. Or with my dog, which didn't work that good today, for example, the work with the dog, the communication with your falcon can always be better.
As far as some of your favorite experiences then with some of these different birds that you've flown, is there a particular bird that sticks out in your mind that has been better than others that you've flown? Or is there a favorite that you've had?
Yeah, Moa. It's the older peregrine. Mm-hmm. I didn't bring her today, but yeah, that's foremost my better falcon. I still have her. Yeah.
Well, what about her has made her your?
It's
your
kind
favorite?
of sick right now. She started to fly like not that strong and everything, and then I took her to the vet. Some blood analysis, and she has a liver damage, and we think that was because 3 or 4 months ago she catch a duck, and a stick of a cactus came into the eye, and it was just full of blood, like in a second. So she can't see for several weeks, and I took her to a vet. And I think the amount of medicine he applied, it was too much. So she had some liver damage.
I gotcha.
Nowadays. So she's kind of calm in the house, in the garden, like receiving medicine, and trying to recover for the extra medicine she received for that issue in the eye. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a particular aspect? Was it just like her endurance or her tenacity, or like what about
the way she always tried to stay overhead, mm-hmm. and the time that I can walk with her overhead and a good height. Mm-hmm. For example, with when we hunt sandpipers, we need to walk a lot because you don't know in the grassland where the sandpiper is, so you're walking with your dog and waiting for the moment to the sandpiper to flush, right? Mm-hmm. So that particular bird always stays overhead, very high, and always respond to my signals very good. And she's very fast. The fastest flight that I've recorded to her, it's like 242 kilometers per hour, which is very fast. Mm-hmm. And yeah, spectacular flights she gave me. Yeah, and it's also never chase that bird like something happens to falconers, but never with that bird. Very tame, that kind of things.
Great. I mean, that's and it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because Martin mentioned that it was one of his favorite traits about one of his birds too, is that is stays overhead and stays with them.
Oh, really?
Just,
said that?
Just the reliability, And so I mean, it's kind of funny. You guys mentioned both the same trait about your the bird that you like the most, and that's what it was, Yeah. But so I mean, just before we segue into the next thing, the whole sandpiper thing, like that's something that I've definitely never. I know nothing about. I mean, is that just something you just walk around until you find one and then it just flushes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
The thing about sandpipers here in Mexico, in central Mexico, in Aguascalientes, is that we have them for a short period of time, just about a month. And the challenging thing is that they come to our lands in August. So falcons normally are not in shape by that time because they're finishing the molt. So it's kind of challenging because you need to get in shape the falcons very, very early in the season. And they're spectacular flights because they're very fast birds, and they do these movements to avoid the bird, and it's always exciting to have your falcon overhead, go walking with your dog and everything, and just suddenly the sandpipers flush of the grass, making that particular noise like that, and then you just you can be walking and watching your falcon all the time. So you just take your binoculars, see the sandpiper, and then you just listen, right? And sometimes they fell off to the ground right before the falcon even touched him. So the falcon lands nearby the sandpiper, like looking for the sandpiper, and then just the fucking sandpiper goes the other way, and the falcon stays in the ground. Like, what happened? And then another flight starts. You know? So the falcon flies again, and then you can spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, walking and looking for an unexpected sandpiper to flush, and waiting for your falcon to stay in the correct position, in a correct height. It's very exciting. And we just have them, as I said, like a month between mid-August and mid-September, and then the ducks start to come down. So that's a goal every season. This particular season, I catch 9 sandpipers with that bird, which is not a amazing number, but for me it was very good, and it was very exciting.
Well, yeah, I mean, for a short amount of time that they're available to you as a quarry, though, that's not bad.
A month, yeah. It was very good. It was a very very happy ending of the sandpiper season.
Cool. Well, and as far as the different birds that you've flown, I mean, you just touched on that, but I mean, what's the favorite hunting memory that you have with your bird, with any of the birds that you've flown? Is there a particular hunt, flight, anything that sticks out in your mind as being like, or at least a couple of hunting stories about a particular flight or something that stands out for you?
Well, I have a lot, but particularly one. Last season, I used to fly my both falcons in a cast, right? And then, the biggest part of the times, it was a mess, because one falcon catch the other, very, very high, and then they come fighting and right to the floor and everything, to the ground and everything. But sometimes it worked very well. So I learned that I need to release one falcon first, so she can start gaining height before the other. That way the other can reach her. So by that time, I released Tata. Tata flew, and she was like 600 meter high or something like that. And then Moa was the second. She was like 500 meter or something like that. So then I flushed the ducks. Moa came, killed a pintail, a male pintail. Drake pintail, you guys say. A Drake pintail. And then Tata came and started stooping and failed, right? And so all the ducks came back to the pond. So when I was walking to reach Moa with the prey, I didn't see her because there was some trees, right? And when I was walking, I started to notice that she was like screaming. I don't know what to say, like screaming like da da da, Mm-hmm. So I noticed that she was hanging from a head of a lynx, and the lynx have the dog. Uh-huh. And Moa was trying to take the dog out of the lynx, and so I just started to run, and by that time Moa just released the lynx and started to fly again. I took my phone, I started to film, and the lynx was just like that, like sitting there with the dog, and he was like, "What are you gonna do?" Uh-huh. And then I started to approach to the lynx and to take the dog in my vest, and she was just the lynx like that. And when I recovered the dog, I noticed that the transmitter was there on the floor. Like in the fight, the transmitter fell off the falcon.
Oh no!
And I was never gonna see my falcon again. So I took the dog in the vest, and the the lynx just flew, they just go away. But Tata was still flying and taking position and taking a pitch, So she came right for the second time overhead. I flushed the ducks, and when she was stooping, I heard like the stoop, and she took another drake pintail, and seconds after that, Moa came again and took another drake pintail right after.
Wow!
So she never went away. She wasn't scared about the lynx and the whole thing. She was just taking pitch again to another flight, right?
Yeah, remounting.
Remounting for another flight. So I took a flight of 10 minutes, three male pintails, which is also a good prey for me because it's a beautiful duck. we consider the pintails as a trophy also, like in duck hunting, and with all this thing of the lynx and everything, it was very very exciting to have that experience. And also recover my falcon without a transmitter, and also have the double catch in a cast. It was very good.
Well, yeah, the story would kind of end up sucking a little bit, right? If you didn't get your bird back.
Yeah. But I was lucky.
Yeah. No. Well, that's incredible though. That's.
Yeah. I hope I make myself understood good with the story. But it's kind of difficult to me to explain.
No, that's fine. I understood everything. No, that's great. That's hilarious though. That
I'll show you some pictures.
I'll definitely. I definitely want to check those out for sure. But let's go ahead and end then with as we said, one thing that I've been asking a lot more recently is what in your what you said 15 years around you've been practicing falconry.
Yeah.
You said? So in the 15 years that you've been practicing, and I mean, is there anything in particular that you've learned or that you think is the most important that you would want other generations or other people to know about or pass on, or like what do you think is one of the most important things that you've learned in your 15 years?
Well, I think besides falconry, you need to know about raptors in general. Like it's good to have some knowledge about, in general, the biology of the raptor, because you're handling a wild falcon, or even if it's a captive bred or something, but it's good to know about the biology of the animal that is sharing with you an important part of your life. I volunteer a lot with the Peregrine Fund in my early career as a biologist. I volunteered with them in conservation projects about 5 years or something like that. So I learned a lot about, not just falconry, but biology of falcons, ecology of falcons, behavior, and some good things that not necessarily comes to falconry as a knowledge that you will use as a falconer. But the thing that I want to explain is that it's good to develop your skills as a falconer, but also have some knowledge about the general natural history and biology of the bird you're handling, and where they come, like evolutionary talking, and know about the environment, their habitats, their natural prey, the subspecies, the things where they come. I don't know. It's something like that. I will say that a little bit of reading of biology, of raptor biology, it's a must for every falconer.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I mean it's hard to properly take care and train something you don't really know much about.
Yeah. It's good to know more things about the bird you're training.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense, and thanks for sharing that, and for sharing everything else. Like I said, it's been great getting to know you a little bit, and I've said this before on the podcast, but I mean some of my favorite experiences doing this has been hitting record and actually talking to somebody really at length for the first time. Yeah. It keeps things kind of fresh, and it's been nice getting to know everybody and including yourself, and thanks for giving me the time to
thank you for listening to me.
No, it's good. Well, like I said, we'll go and have another beer, hang out for a little bit longer, but otherwise, like I said, thank you again, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.